I'm Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, we're going to work with a new app on our dashboard that's called the Photo Studio. So as you can see, I'm logged into my dashboard and I'm going to go to Apps. And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom where it says Photo Studio, and I'm going to go ahead and click that. And this is our Photo Studio editor area, and it has a lot of neat features that you can do. But before I get too deep into the Photo Studio, I want to start with a different app. I'm going to go into the Design Studio, and we're going to do something special with our Design Studio. So I'm going to go to Design and then Design Studio, and I'm going to work with this picture right here. It's just a computer, and I'm going to put a picture of one of my websites inside that computer. So I'm just going to click on it. There's my computer. And I took a picture of one of my websites and I saved it onto my computer. So I'm just going to go to Upload Media. And here's my picture right here. This is the picture I'm going to use. So I'm going to click it and then click Open. So there's my picture. I have to kind of center it a little bit so I can get the exact position. You can see where the red lines are. That's everything that's going to show on the computer. So I'm going to just kind of rearrange it the exact way I want it. And then once I get it that way, I'm going to go to the Done button. And then I'm going to click the button that says See Result. Perfect. So now I've got the picture inside of the computer, and I'm going to go ahead and download this picture. So it's saved it onto my hard drive, so I can use that. But what I have is a picture that has a green background. So I'm going to go into the Photo Studio, now that I'm done with the Design Studio, and I'm going to remove that background and make it transparent. So let's go in and check that out. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard. I'm going to go to Apps, and all the way down at the bottom, go to Photo Studio. And now I'm inside the Photo Studio, and I'm going to start to get to work with taking that green background out of that picture. So I'm going to go to New Folder. I'm going to name my folder, and then I'm going to click Create. Now it tells me that the folder's been added, so I click OK. And there's that website pick folder that I just created. So I'm going to click on it, and there's no files in there at all, so I'm going to click Add Files. And then I'm going to choose the file off of my computer that I already made. So right here is the picture that I made. I'm going to click on it and click Open. And then I'm going to click Add. And now I've got that picture inside of my Photo Studio, but you can see that it's still got the green background. So I'm going to go to Edit. And here's where I can do some really neat stuff with this picture. So as you can see, I've got my picture pulled up, and I can change the size, the lighting and the coloring, the effects. I can put text on the picture. I can put a watermark on the picture. I can change the background, which we'll do in just a second. And then I can choose what format it has. And then I can even apply some predefined profiles or create a new profile. So let's first go to size. So I can choose to play with the size a little bit, and I can choose to scale it. I can crop it. I can do a square thumbnail. I can rotate the picture. I can even make this picture a circle. If I click circle right here and then choose the size that I want it, you can see that it takes it all the way to a circle. Or if I want to undo it, I just change the slider back to 0 and uncheck circle. I can rotate the picture, or I can put it back to 0. And then I can also play with the canvas, including the width and height of the canvas, the color, and even the position and opacity. That's manipulating the size of the image. Now let's go to light and color. And here's where you can change a lot of the lighting options of the picture. So let's go ahead and change the brightness of the picture. As you can see, the picture got a lot brighter. I can move that back to 0. I can also change contrast, exposure, highlights, shadows, and I can choose some color options, including changing the hue, the lightness, and even the saturation. The next area we're going to look at is effects. And in here we can change quite a few things. We can change it to grayscale, and we can choose different color tone settings along with blur settings. So as you can see, we got a lot of power just in the options area. And if I want to undo any of those, I just go all the way back to 0 on the slider, and I can uncheck grayscale. I can also add a frame. I can choose the style, and it starts off with a width of 5. I can change that width. I can also change the color of the frame. And if I don't want a frame, I can just choose Style, None, and set everything back to 0, and all the changes I made are removed. I can choose to add text, and in the text options, I can type anything I want to. And when I add that, then I choose where I want it to show up at. Do I want it in the center, or do I want it in the north, northeast, east? I think this one I'm going to put on the northwest. So as you can see, I've got little bitty text right there. I can now start to make it bigger. I can also change the font family and the color of the font. I can do a text outline, and I can change the color of the background. If I want to undo the text, I just highlight the text and delete it, and then it will disappear from the picture. The next area I can work with is the watermark. And for the watermark, I can choose a file to add to this picture, and it will create a watermark over the picture. We'll talk about that in a few minutes when we talk about our 3D rotating pictures. The next area I can check out is the background, and this is where I can remove the background and replace it with a transparent area so that we kind of have that picture jumping out at us. All I do to do that is I click in this box that says Color for Replacement. When I click inside of there, I can then take my mouse over and click on the green area, because that's the area I want to remove. And you can see that it removed that green area from my picture. I have a slider right here that says Distance. Sometimes you may have a color in there that's not consistently the exact same color across the back of the picture. So you may want to increase the distance so it can get not just one plain color of green, but get several different hues or shades of green so that you can actually remove the full background and not have any stray colors there. Also, if you've got multiple colors in your background and you want to delete it, you can actually add more color and choose another color to remove. And if you remove a color and then you want to bring it back, just click the trash can and it'll bring that color back. So that's how you remove the background and make it transparent. Now I'm going to go to Format, and this is a really important part because remember that transparent backgrounds can only be in PNG format. A JPEG will not have a transparent background. So in order to save it with the transparent background, we have to click Format and then choose WebP and then choose PNG. And that'll make sure that your transparent background is kept on the picture. Once you're done with that, you just click Save and then OK. And now that picture is actually ready to be added to your website. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we do that. To add the picture to the website, you're going to go to Embed, and you've got several options. You've got an embed URL where you can highlight the URL and add it to your website with an HTML box. You have a direct URL, so you can add this to your web page. You have a fallback URL. The fallback is really important because if you take the direct URL, it is in a WebP format. Not all browsers and computers can read that. So if it's not able to read it, it will fall back to a PNG format. And then you can also have an image with a zoom effect. So you can highlight the script and take a look at what it would be like to be able to have that picture with the zoom effect so the user can actually zoom in and look at areas of the picture a little bit closer. I got the code for the zoom in. So I added that code to an HTML box, and what I get is a couple of buttons on the right hand side of the picture. And if I click that when it's on the live version, you'll actually see it zoom. So let's try that out. So here I am on the live version, and I'm going to click the plus, and you can see that it's zooming in for us. And then also I can take my mouse and move it around. So that would be great if you had a product that you were showing your customer and they wanted to zoom in on it and they wanted to kind of move it around a little bit to get a better view of that product. So that's the zoom coding that you can use. So now I'm going to show you how to add this as just a regular image. So I'm going to go to plus and image, and I'm going to click on image, and then I'm going to right click and go to external image, and I'm going to use the URL that I was given in Photo Studio. So I'm just going to copy that in and then click confirm. And now we've got our picture in there, and we can resize that picture, we can move around that picture, we can do a lot of neat stuff with it. And remember, we've taken that background out, so we can put that on top of a color, and that picture would look like it was popping out of the screen. So that's how you can use the Design Studio along with the Photo Studio. Now let's look at an even more fun thing you can do with the Photo Studio, which is 360-degree rotation of a product. So I'm back in my Photo Studio, and I'm going to work with folders and 3D rotations. Now, if I'm creating a new folder that I want to use for a 3D rotation, I need to click New Folder. I need to name it, and then I need to check mark Folder for 3D rotation. That's going to enable you to upload multiple pictures, and it will take those pictures in sequence and create your 3D rotation. I've already created a couple of them. I'm going to go into the sneaker 2, and here I've got 36 pictures of a sneaker, all in different positions. And when I put them together in order, it creates a picture that rotates for me. Now you can upload these pictures from your computer, or we've got an app being developed. The Android version is available. The iOS is not available yet, but all you have to do is click Add Files, and you can choose files from your computer, or you could use the apps that we have and add the files straight from your phone or your mobile device. So once I get the pictures in there, there's a few things that I can do with them, including creating a profile that I can add to just one of the pictures, and then take that profile and propagate it through all of the pictures so they all have the same profile. So let's take a look at what I mean by that. Let's say that this is just a sample image, and you want to make sure that you put your watermark on there so no one can steal that image. So let's go ahead and go to the very first picture, and we'll click Edit. And on this picture, I want to put a watermark on it to identify it as a Builderall picture so no one can steal it. So I'm going to go to Watermark, and I'm going to choose the watermark image. So I'm going to choose a file, and I'm just going to use Builderall text and click Open. This is a simple image file that the only thing I have in it is a transparent background and the Builderall text. So it puts it right over the picture, but I don't really like that because I want to take the focus away from the letters and see the product. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it in the center, but I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Okay, so I've rotated the text, and now that looks a little bit better. So now I'm going to go ahead and change the opacity. So I'm going to take this slider and make it just a little bit lighter. And now we have a really nice kind of grayscaled or lightened watermark. We can also do a watermark scale. We can change the width of it, and we can change the height of it. So I'm going to change that to a little bit shorter. There we go. And I'm going to change it to the opacity of a little bit lighter. And now I've got the watermark across the entire picture. And I like the way that looks, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Profiles, and I'm going to create a new profile for the settings that I have for this picture. So all I've changed as far as any settings was I added the watermark. That's all I've changed. So I'm going to go to Create a New Profile, and I'm going to call it Builderall Watermark. And then I'm going to click Create and OK. And now I have that watermark added, but remember I only added it to image number 1, right? The very first one that I pulled up. So I'm going to click Save to save everything. And then I'm going to go back to my Sneaker 2 folder. And you can see that I've got that watermark on the first image, but I don't have it on all the rest of the images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the main picture that's rotating, and that brings up the main picture, and I'm going to add the profile I just made to the main picture, which means it's going to put that profile on all of the pictures in this rotation series. So I just scroll down and I click Profiles, and it says Apply to Rotation one of these profiles. So I'm going to click the down button, and I'm going to choose Builderall Watermark. And it asks you, are you sure? Because this can't be undone. So click Yes. And it takes a few minutes to add this to all of the pictures. It's going through every one of the pictures and adding this profile, so it takes just a few minutes to do this. And now you can see that it's added the watermark and it looks like it's right above the rotating picture. So it keeps that Builderall watermark in there for all of the images needed for this rotation. Now it gives us the embed code. And for the embed code, there's two things that we need to do for this embed code. The first piece of code needs to go into the body of an HTML box, and the second code needs to go into the head of the HTML box. And there is a warning. It says don't insert the code into the iframe. The iframe doesn't support full screen mode. So let's go ahead and embed this into a blank page and we'll see what it looks like. So the first thing I'm going to do is capture the first code. So I'm going to click the copy button. And I'm going to go to my HTML editor. I'm going to take this picture out. And I'm going to go to plus and apps and HTML. I'm going to right click, go to edit. And remember that the code that I grabbed first goes into the body. So I'm going to paste that in there. Then I'm going to go back and get the header script. And I'm going to copy that. And go back to my editor. And this goes into the head. And then I'm going to go ahead and click confirm. And now I've got the box there. I have to make it larger so I can actually see the picture. Okay, so I'm going to make it a little bit larger. There we go. And now it's got it in there. I'm going to click preview. And this is what my image looks like. And what's really exciting about it is I can, as the user, click it and drag it any way I want to look at it. So I have power as the user to actually get a good look at that product from every angle. And then once I'm done, I can choose to enlarge it or take it back down to small size. And that's how you use the photo studio that's available now in your dashboard in Builderall.